Difficult song requests. So picture it, right? You got a wedding coming up and, you're going over stuff and they throw you something that seems to be more difficult. Now, some DJs might call these bad song requests, okay? I hear this often, right? Oh, got the worst song requests for this wedding. Oh, these requests suck. They're not going to work. They suck, right? I disagree with saying that. Like, I just think it's wrong because you got to realize, like, music is subjective and your crowd might vibe to a song that you think sucks. You know what I mean? Like, just because you think it sucks or because it's not something that's commonly played or something that's proven or something, even if you listen to the song and you're like, this will never work, you might be right or you might be wrong. Regardless, they want to hear it. Like, you know what I mean? You got to think, like, it's subjective. I can't tell you how many times I got a song request and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to suck so bad, but whatever, I got to play it, and I went and I played it and it ended up being one of the best songs of the night. Because how do you know what their favorite song was with all their friends back in the day in high school or college or whatever? How do you know that shit? You don't know, okay? You don't know. They are giving you valuable information. They're essentially giving you a handicap by telling you these songs that you would never play in a million years, right? So value them. Think of them from that perspective because you'd be surprised what you run into, and I want to drive that point home because I'm sure I've done it in the past in my early age, in my early years of DJing, and I'm sure other DJs have done this or do this where you get a really, what you would call a quote unquote bad song request. You don't play it at all. You avoid it because you think it's not going to work. And, either worst case scenario, you get a bad review or they're like, hey, we're really upset you didn't play that. Or they ask you last minute, like, hey, can you play this now because you never played it? Now you're playing it out of when you shouldn't be playing it and it doesn't work or whatever. Or, you just missed out on one of the greatest songs of the night. It would have been awesome. So I want to give you guys some tips on how to incorporate difficult song requests, okay? Song requests that are a little more challenging for us DJs, so you can, reap the rewards, whether it's in the form of the review where they say, oh, he played everything. He was the best. He played all my requests. Or you play the song and it goes off at the wedding and you're really happy you did, okay? So let's talk about this. Number one, you got to know the when and how. So when I'm planning a wedding with a couple, go through their song requests, if something jumps out at me, I'm going to ask them the when and how. Hey, I saw you put this on here. Did you want this during dinner, right? Did you want this during dancing? Like, when do you think this would fit best in the night? Like, when were you envisioning hearing this song? Okay. Always ask that. Now, some DJs might say, well, you're setting yourself up for failure because, they might say, well, play it during dancing when it's not really a dancing song. Why ask? Just kind of like, better to ask for forgiveness than permission kind of thing because you're kind of setting yourself up. But I disagree with that because when couples request songs, they do have in their head, whether you think it's accurate or not, they have in their head when they would like to hear it. You know what I mean? So it's going to hit different at a certain time of night, especially if they envision the song playing at a certain time. I can't tell you how many times I've had a song request and I'm like, oh God, I hope it's not for dancing. But when did you want me to play this song? For dancing. I'm like, oh. But that's when they wanted it. If I would have played that during dinner, they would have came up to me potentially and been like, yo, why are you playing this right now? Like, save this for later. Or can you play this a little later? So you end up playing it for dinner for no reason and you end up playing it later anyway. And then now you're caught with your pants down because you don't have a plan on how to play this song later. Ask them and take their advice. They want it when the customer's always right. They hired you. Okay. So ask them. Now, once actually, I'm not going to jump ahead, okay? When you ask them, if it happens to be a song that, you think would work better during dinner, you think it's going to kind of be tough for dancing, there's nothing wrong with suggesting to them, like, hey, like when you ask them, kind of frame it in a way where, hey, you wanted this song playing during dinner, right? Right? I'm assuming dinner for this one, you can frame it that way. Yeah, but we're talking about a request, like if it's a request that like it's a jam with all their friends, but it's like a dud to you or whatever, they're going to want it for dancing. Like, you know what I mean? That's when they're going to want it. So like you might think it's a dud and think it'll work better for dinner, but like, that's why you ask. They say during dancing, it's going to be like, oh shit, how am I going to do this? But at least you know now. At least you can like game plan, okay? And that brings me to the next term. So there's basically, I break song requests up into 3 different categories. And based on the 3 different categories, that's how I judge, how I'm going to work it in to a dance set. Okay. So this is in the scenario where you have a difficult song request that they want to be played during dancing. We're not going to talk about dinner and all that. Obviously, you just play a song during dinner, piece of cake, right? You play a song for a slow dance. Okay. Here's a slow dance dedicated to so-and-so, whatever, you play it out, right? But they want this song played during dancing. So we'll start with a week, right? If the song is weak, I had one this past weekend, okay? I'm not going to tell you which wedding, but this weekend I had a request for Home by Philip Phillips, okay? I'm going to make this day my home. Oh, 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 oh. Right? You get it? You remember that song? The dude was on like American Idol or some shit, I think. Maybe what? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It was a hit. It was on the radio. Is it a dance song? No. Weak in my opinion. Okay. Very just chill, kind of like drinking a drink on a beach type song. I don't know. Not really like a upbeat. It is in the 120 BPM range, but it's not like, 4 on the floor kind of like, oh man, I can't wait to hit my 2-step to the song. Okay. Difficult. Weak. If it's a weak song like that, I highly recommend you end your set with it, okay? This past weekend, had a request for Home by Philip Phillips. It was for the one of the parents, and I was, she was, please announce it. Try and do it. I said, when do you want me to play it? During dancing. And then they specifically said, can you just play it during like the first set? Dedicate it to so-and-so parent, whatever. Okay, no problem. I got you. So what I did was, my first set, I made it my last song of that first set. Because when I dropped the song, obviously a couple people left and we're like, what the fuck is this? We gone. Time to get a drink or time to go to the bathroom. And I was ending the set anyways, right? So, if it's weak, you end your set with it, particularly the first set too. Like for me, depending on the timeline and whatnot, but once you get into the later sets, you're kind of going to the end of the night. So, I guess you could do it as your last song before you play another slow song if you're breaking things up or before you're doing another formality. Definitely works best, though. First set, you're about to go into dinner. I'm also assuming you guys dancing before dinner. Regardless, at the end of your set, drop that bitch in. You might lose a few people, but you make the dedication. The person the song is for runs out or is already out there. They have their song. They have their moment. You can also play it for longer, too, right? If you play in the middle of the set, you're going to really feel your hand shaking because you want to get it out real quick, because it's like bombing your whole shit and messing up, so you're more likely to mix out quicker. Play it at the end. I played almost the whole thing. They got their moment. We kept it pushing. It didn't mess me up, okay? Well, let's say it's not a weak song, okay? But it's a difficult request, and it's traditional. Traditional is the opposite of a weak request as far as when I think you should play it, in my opinion, okay? Now, traditional could be a hora, right? Like if it's a Jewish wedding, a hora, or maybe it's a traditional Portuguese song, okay? Also happened to me this weekend. I had 2 Portuguese songs to play. Batupe, batupe, batupe. I don't know if you're from Portugal or if you had a Portuguese wedding, you would know that. Or Brazil, I don't know. I'm not cultured enough to even tell you anything about these songs. All I know is they're given to me and I play them. Regardless, I had 2 Portuguese songs. I asked them, I knew they were, so we're going to play these during dancing, right? Yeah, we're going to play them during dancing. I was like, should I do them back to back or you want them spread out? That's a good question to ask when you have traditional stuff, right? A lot of times they'll say, oh, well, there's 2 of them, playing back to back. So this weekend they said, play them back to back, play them at some point. Now, this is a difficult thing for, a lot of us or all of us because, it's traditional. You don't play this all the time. You're kind of anticipating that, like, a large majority of the crowd isn't going to know this song. So are they going to sway to it? How do you mix it with other stuff? If you got the dance floor popping, how do you go into a traditional Portuguese song? You got to, expect to lose some people. You don't do it in the middle of your set. In my opinion, okay, you do what you like. But in my opinion, when it comes to traditional music, it's best in the beginning of your set. Use it as your anchor, okay? I literally took the 2 traditional Portuguese songs and I played those right up front, right after dinner. So we finished dinner. I started my dance set after dinner. That's what I started my dance set with. Heard that beat coming in, slapping. Doom, da, doom, da, doom. Or it wasn't like a reggaeton, but what's that beat kind of go? It doesn't matter. Dinner got done. I said, ladies and gentlemen, the dance floor is now open. I didn't play a slow song, nothing. I just went right into the Portuguese music. Why this works is because, number one, all the family members, it's a must play request. So, if it doesn't work great, it doesn't matter. You have to play it. So it's not like, you know, it's like this DJ sucks. Like the couple's not going to look at you like you suck. Like you're playing what they asked them to play. That's super traditional. That's important to them. So worst case, if only 10 people do the dance, you're still, you know, not in hot water. You know, you played what, you know, you played a traditional dancing song and you stayed with tradition. You kept the family happy. So have pride in that, right? But most cases, a large majority of people will get up because whether they know the tradition or not, you want to join in on the traditions. It's fun. You know, when you see people doing a certain dance, like they do with the Portuguese, they do like a certain kind of dance to it. Like it's like kind of like almost like a line of people and they do this little shuffle thing, right? People join in on that. They have a great time. It always works as an anchor. Use it as an anchor. And then if you want to do some homework, I would listen to the song ahead of time, get the BPM, set your cues, right? Like have good cue points of like when to mix in, mix out, things like that. Practice mixing them together, make sure they flow right, and also practice what songs will be good to mix out of. So these Portuguese songs in particular were in the 100 BPM range. I mixed out with This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan, and then went into like a little mini hip hop set, and then went into regular more wedding music. But like, you know, based on your crowd, everything, just have a game plan on how you're going to mix out as well. You know, you play most of them. You play most of it. You don't want to mix out quick. You know, have a good, solid 6-minute, 8-minute segment of the traditional music, but then know how you're going to mix out and have a game plan so you can keep the party going after that. And then your dance floor is packed after that. And you start your dance floor with it. You keep it pushing. You knocked out the traditional requests and you're good to go. Okay. The third leg to this is the songs that land in the middle. If the song is cool, but you've never heard of it, you wouldn't play it. You never heard of it before, or you heard it before, but it's like nothing you ever tried on your dance floor. So it's kind of like, you know, these are the songs you mix in the middle. These are the songs where you want to put them in the middle to knock it out as a song request, but you want to have a really, really good game plan. So listen to the song, familiarize yourself with it, refamiliarize yourself with it if you already knew it, add your cue points, figure out what it mixes well with, right? Figure out how you're going to mix into it and how you're going to mix out of it. Because these are songs that you might just play a verse and a chorus, or maybe just a chorus to say you played it. So you're going to quick mix out of it. If you're not used to mixing it and stuff, like you want to have a game plan. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck in the song too long. You're going to get that Serato face looking for the next song. Shit, how do I get out of this? Especially if it's bombing, right? Have a game plan. Set up a game plan. It's very, very important. If you know how you're going to get in and out of it ahead of time, you're going to easily be able to breeze through playing it. And even if it affects your dance floor a little bit when you do play it, you're going to get out of it quick enough with a banger to build your dance floor back up, or to at least hold the people that are still there, and then keep it pushing. You'll be fine. Okay? Being a wedding DJ, you know, you don't play all the stuff you want to play. We're working for somebody. It's a big part of it. And, you know, you just, as long as it's all preparation. If you prepare the right way, you'll get away with playing almost anything at a wedding. Almost anything. You can make any couple happy. Just as long as you prepare. It's very, very important. If you don't prepare, you don't know how you're going to get in and out. You get caught with your pants down. But that's how I handle requests, people. You know? It's a very important part of the job. You tell me. You tell me what you do in the comments. You let me know what you like.